Boom. Am I live?
Yep.
All right, we're live.
We're live.
We are live on Twitter also.
Hooray.
Look at me there. Okay. 1 view on Twitter. We did it. That's all I needed.
Yay.
Yay. How's it going?
Oh, it's going. How are things with you?
Good.
That's good.
You got to picture this though. I worked all morning on this freaking report. So this is like review season. We're trying to get them all done by basically by President's Day. I get the next one in. I'm like, feel good. I hit send to my boss. Not 30 seconds later, I get a email that we have to send out requests for documents for the Inspector General's audit that we're under. So it's like, oh my God. And it was like all hands on deck. They need this shit by like Monday, which is like, you're giving them Friday and Monday before Christmas. Okay. Okay. Good. I'm like, good luck. I can send the email, but half the people I deal with are probably on vacation right now. So
Thanks, IG.
yeah, IG fucking it's a federal IG. It's not a state one. State IG doesn't do crap like this. They're too busy attacking state workers. Anyways, cue the lit intro. A little Yachty walkout would be little Yachty. Wait, do I have preloaded the Oh, did not know the end there. I'm gonna get in trouble. But that's the original anyways. All the ones that people use to make the walkouts. So anyways. Oh, I hope I don't get they'll clip that out if it's copyright. Lockheed Martin in the toilet. So yeah, so we were talking in Discord and you mentioned that you bought a certain shipbuilder.
Yep.
And then I looked at it and then I started looking at all the other defense contractors to do just like a cost comparison, because I haven't been paying attention. And then I'm like, oh my God, all the military guys got clapped.
Yep. I also, full and fair disclosure, picked up Lockheed before this company.
So I was like, no shit. I'm like, we can talk about this then.
Yeah.
It's hard to find investable things that are not overpriced. Like, so it is what it is. Oh, yeah, I started putting memeing.
Yep. Yeah, same here.
I bought a Cybertruck.
What's that pic too? That profile pic. That's
so
beautiful.
You know what's funny this week is I found like 3 or 4 people on Reddit that like all kind of had the same. I'm just wasting time here for a few minutes. People get it rolling, but there was just these people that like were like, yeah, my something broke on my Cybertruck. Like that was and then they start writing, and you're like, these people live in Canada in the middle of like not like urban Canada. It's like rural tundra Canada. They bought an electric truck and they're driving in like sub-zero tundra in the middle of nowhere where there's probably like 100 miles of like nothing on a highway, like Saskatchewan. And it was like, what the like the life choices some people make, like that's not the vehicle for that place. Like, oh my God. But it just like kind of caught my attention. Um, roast tonight.
No, that's his stick with me. No roast tonight, Fuhat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, your thoughts on supposed drones? Oh, we were talking about this right before.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Lockheed Martin trying out new product or something more sinister. Yeah, I had a really cool Twitter thread on it. I closed it and I can't get it back. It's the most frustrating thing about Twitter. If you don't save like a thread, it's hard to find stuff. Like if you just close it, yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit. This clip is getting old. The little Yachty one.
Yachty intro. That's my guess. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was played to death at this point. All the various people in it. Cybertrucks are to trucks what Planet Fitness is to gyms.
Oof.
That is, I like that. It's very true. Technically, I guess it's a truck. I guess it's a truck as much as a Subaru Baja, I guess, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know. Well, to me, like a truck is a body on frame vehicle with an open bed. I don't know. That's kind of my definition, I think. So, like a Honda Ridgeline is not a truck. It's just a unibody. It's a Honda Pilot. They cut the back off. So you gotta have a body on frame. To me, that's a truck. So there you go. It fits the bill.
I miss the old days of the station wagon.
Dan, just go into your history if you're online. Oh, I can? Wait, how do I go into the history for Twitter?
Maybe on your internet browser, but if you wanted to give that a shot.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I am the worst person at Twitter. You'd have to tell me where the history is.
Yeah, it's fine though.
Profile. Okay. Oh, Majin. I have not followed Kamar. I can't like I'll watch clips. If people clip him in strongmans, I'll watch that. I can't watch that man. He like some people hate watch it. I don't have time for that. I'd rather listen to other things. But I'll watch clips all day. Well, Fuhat maybe can tell me so later I can pull up my history on Twitter so I can look up that whole thread on the drone. I think Khmer is like he's constantly, as far as I know, he is constantly changing what he's invested in.
Really?
Like it seems like when people post in Strongman's thread about him, that which is actually a really fun thread. Yeah. So join Strongman's Discord if you want to keep up.
It is free.
Yeah, it's like he's just constantly switching between different ETF products. Which is like the whole point of being a dividend investor is supposed to be like you're more stable. So like even I mean, yeah, you might have a little lower return than like the S&P 500, but a dividend investor is more stable. You're less likely to sell. You're more long term. That in theory.
And yeah, in theory.
The high warriors are the opposite. They trade like a fucking day trade. They're literally day trading these products, but they call themselves like yield investors, but they're I don't know. It's a new thing. It is a new thing. I would agree. It's a new type of investing, which is not, I don't think, good, but and I'm telling you, man, the tax bills those people are going to get.
Oh, yeah.
Because all the swapping, the day trading, even if you make a gain, it's, fully taxed. All the yield they're getting is fully taxed. There's no long-term anything, qualified dividends or nothing. They're going to get killed, especially if they're like you have an $80,000, $100,000 salary.
Oh, yeah.
On top of that, you're also generating $50,000 to $80,000 of yield max.
Yeah.
And you're not withholding, right? None of them are doing estimated withholding payments. We know they're not. So it's like you have an $80,000 a year job and you pay nothing towards it all year. So like IRS is going to love these people. So you're funding America. Thank God. They can fund America. I'll pay this like as little as I can. Man put his wife's IRA into Coney and Misty. Yeah, I know what the Misty stuff. I was watching a guy on YouTube talking about Misty. what was his name? Michael. I think his name was Michael. Oh, he was talking about like it's not like the way it's set up. It seems like it's magic because they're issuing shares. The dilution of MicroStrategy though is less than the appreciation of the stock.
Mm.
So it appears that it's some sort of glitch, right? He's diluting, but the yield on the diluting is actually better. It's a higher return. Like that's the magic. I mean, in layman terms, Bitcoin go up. And I talk about this with Andrew. It's like doing what he's doing. The higher Bitcoin goes, actually, that's when Michael Saylor wants to buy it because the whole company is based on new money coming in, new investors. What he's doing. So actually, you would think, oh no, he should wait until Bitcoin drops and then buy it. It's like no, his business model is not what you think it is. It's to keep bringing new investors in. So he needs to issue and dilute into insanity with the price to bring in new people to keep it going. And it's shaped like, a certain three-sided object. Most likely at some point it's gonna, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, the ancient Egyptians were famous for them.
I mean, how many people knew the housing market was going to go bust in 08, right?
Yeah.
That whole system was based on housing prices always going up. It's kind of the same with the Bitcoin. It's based on, well, it's two parts. Like it seems like Michael Saylor's strategy with that MicroStrategy is it's two, like momentum of people joining, like momentum of people buying crypto and the price of crypto and Bitcoin going up. And as long as you can keep that perpetually going, but I don't really like. I've always said, like, just buy damn Bitcoin. If you want Bitcoin, just buy it and just hold it. Like, I don't get any of these other products they're all at a premium that you look at. All these investment vehicles for Bitcoin sell at a premium to what they actually hold. I think last I checked. So I don't understand what you're doing. And then you're paying expense ratios. It's confusing as hell. A beacon of hope. The beacon.
Yeah.
I don't like the tax dollars are going to get paid out to Chimera of the world in the form of welfare checks when he loses all his money. I predict, the way this ends is the tax man cometh for Chimera. Did I say Chimers? It's Chimera.
Yeah, Chimera.
I say Chimers. It's like the Canadian comes out. I think he's going to get a tax bill at some point. He's just going to flee the country to the Southeast Asia. And they can't take the taxes out of, I don't think they can take some of it out of his pension. I think they can't take his whole pension. So that's why I think the end of this is when he flees to Southeast Asia. That's not the end of his channel. He'll just keep making videos and just say he moved there because he wanted to live there. Yeah, sure. Oh, our tax dollars. Ever been watching videos on YouTube? Then they suggest a video, but you can't find it again after watching the video. Also, I have 7,000 videos to watch in queue. I know how to look at past videos in YouTube. I don't know why I don't know how to look at tweets I've looked at before. It's a shame.
Yeah.
So okay, so we've wasted more time than I thought.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. No, we nailed one of the topics on the title.
I did put Bitcoin in the title. Yeah. I guess at some point we can.
Yeah.
We kind of already said it. I don't know. Can revisit it. I should just make videos constantly about Bitcoin, and then they attack you incessantly in the chat and whatever. I'm not like against it. I'm against like the instruments of Bitcoin. I guess that's what I'm against. I think you should buy the crypto if you want. I don't understand any of these like for retail investors. There's no reason you can't just go buy Bitcoin. I mean, I understand institutional people, it's not so easy. That's probably why some of these ETF products make sense, because institutions a lot of times can't buy the physical cryptos for whatever reason. So I get it, but you're not that, you're retail. So you could just go to PayPal. I don't really care. Your key, your wallet thing, who cares? But yeah, I mean, there's ways to buy Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin Reserve coming next, boys? Oh, that's a different topic. I just saw that talk about that. Ridiculous. Somebody at CNBC was this morning saying the US should have a Bitcoin reserve like gold, or even transition our gold reserve to Bitcoin. It's like kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
They don't even need to have, the US government doesn't even need to buy Bitcoin. All they have to do is seize it and inherit it like from, estates. So given long enough time, the US government's just going to own a lot of it and not even ever buy it, but they'll just vacuum up, a lot of Bitcoin from society. They already do though. I don't know. Do you think people know that?
No,
The
I
US
don't.
government is one of the largest owners of Bitcoin in the world.
Yeah, again, I don't think that they necessarily do, but then again, like how the U.S. government and why the U.S. government came to the Bitcoin
Yeah.
or owned the Bitcoin is
It's just like criminal activity,
yeah.
like vacuuming up like estates and whatever.
Yeah, because like I'm not one of those people that says you should blindly have faith in the U.S. government all the time. But at the same time, like I think it's fair enough. There's been enough of a track record in crypto spaces that there's some really scummy people out there. So
All right, so let's set the table for defense before we
yes,
talk about this one specific company.
hmm
So we've always talked about defense broad terms, so now we're actually kind of talking about just one company, I guess.
yeah,
So this won't be so long of a video. So the big fear, I'm assuming, broad strokes, all the defense companies are down like the last like month. So you've got Doge, you've got all the talk from Elon and Vivek about cutting the government, right?
hmm
That's probably scaring people. There's the uncertainty of who's going to be in charge of the Department of Defense and what the Department of Defense's budget's going to be, which comes out in March next year. So there's probably some of that fear, right? We don't know what they're going to priority wise be putting in there. Is Doge going to move in and affect procurement activities, which would be scary for these contractors? So there's all that fear, um, which I think is kind of funny to some degree. But we can look historically. Okay, here's the defense budget,
hmm
not including special appropriations for like Iraq, Afghanistan. That stuff I think was separately handled in a lot of ways. So we've covered this before on other defense videos. Sequestration hurt military readiness. I know people say that our military is well funded. It is, and it has all the money in the world, but this did have an impact. Sequestration, which was an agreement during Obama's time to cut all funding for the whole government. The whole government got like a slice off because they couldn't come to a budget agreement. So this was like the first time really ever like that the defense budget actually went down. It never goes down basically. So this has affected equipment, right? So this is money that would have been earmarked for renovating equipment, modernization, munitions, all that stuff. So there's some sort of a catch up, is what we had talked about in the past. Is that like that time, that lost money had to be caught up, and that modernization had to be done at some point. So we're making up for the budget really fast. And in case you're wondering, here's Trump. So 2016, the budget was 460 billion, and then when he left, it was up to 778 billion. So his track record shows that he does not mind increasing the budget for the Defense Department. Okay, doesn't mean different presidency. He was drained the swamp, and now he's Doge. So here we are, and he's a lame duck president now. He wasn't the first time. Okay, so budget's going up pretty fast at this point. 5, 6, 7% increases, which is interesting. And then you look at the other side of the coin, personnel. Okay, personnel is decreasing. So the budget's going, 7% up a year. Personnel is going down like 1.5% per year. So there's more money you would think towards equipment purchasing. Is this intentional? I don't think so. I think it's just they're having a hard time filling
yeah,
quotas. We've probably both seen the stories. It's just I don't want to say, people always make fun of the newer generation, but it's just they're not as fit. There's less people qualified to be in the military. Plus, unemployment is so low. That's probably a bigger contributor. The economy is so good. I
hmm
mean, why would you join the military if you had better options? For the most part, unless you're like you intentionally want to go in. So there's a whole bunch of factors why this is down. I mean, this is not intentional, but nonetheless, it is. Personnel numbers are down. Military, so we have that. Someone messaged me.
Yeah, I didn't get a ping.
Oh, okay. So we can see everyone's saying that the funding is going to go down, and then here we go. Here is the new appropriations bill, and it's freaking, where was it? $833 billion. So what were we at before? Military spending. Okay, so this is not all the funding, but here is 833. So we can see. So now we're talking about like Huntington Ingalls. What are interesting things in here? I know I didn't send you this, but have you like anything of interest as far as the allocate of the new authorization appropriation bill?
Nothing that completely stands out as worrying, at least, because yeah, like if I'm not saying that it's going to happen or that it should happen. It's more of a, if this is what people are thinking, and we can see point one, prioritizes the fight against China by um, the Navy and naval assets are going to matter. What type of naval assets we're talking? Things on water, things that float above water, things that are supposed to dive below the water. So yeah, that's perfectly fine. Where a vast amount of Huntington Ingalls' revenue, operates off of.
Yeah. So we see, and this is the priorities of the military. The last like 2-3 years I've looked at it, it's kind of this. It's the same:
Hmm.
nuclear deterrence,
Yep.
combating China,
Hmm.
and then space. I would just lump the rest. Like the third angle, honestly I would say just space, aerospace, space development. So that's the priorities. Russia was never a priority. It still is not. So, which is funny. They think we don't even. They're barely mentioned when you look at the Defense Department budget. They're mentioned with the nuclear deterrence part, but China is just all over the place mentioned. So this was like the birth of my submarine investment. So this is kind of we're going down the same path. So you're getting a lot of money for priorities against China. We
Hmm.
keep seeing this, which
Yeah,
is not
it's
new.
repeated
So,
line. Yeah.
and if you're going to fight China, first thing is ships. F-35s.
Yep.
What else? Defense. Air defense systems for Taiwan potentially. Stuff like this. So, and then also you mentioned Lockheed Martin investment increases on 5th and 6th generation aircraft, like the F-35, and then whatever the 6th gen they're just starting to research into. They're thinking about retiring some of the F-22s, which is
Dang.
interesting. How much money they spend on the F-22?
Yeah.
They're already trying to get rid of some of them.
Well.
Oh my goodness. So good for the pay increases, I gotta say. That doesn't really help us with Huntington
No.
Ingalls.
But
Israel, not so much. Okay, any other parts? That's the big part.
yep.
Okay. Then there's more shipbuilding. So here's a more detailed breakdown from another page about like what's in this appropriation. So here's shipbuilding, 31.6 billion to procure 4 Navy force ships, 2 guided missile destroyers, 1 Virginia fast attack submarine. Good for me. I'm happy about that. 1 San Antonio class amphibious transport dock ship, which is like for the Marines, which I saw them actually when I was in Norfolk and I did the tour of the shipyard. There was like 3 amphibious ships that were being like retrofitted, I guess, by General Dynamic, which is pretty cool to see how they do it, like the docks, how a dry dock works.
Hmm.
Because they had 2. One was like still in the water, and then the other one had lifted the boat. So it was really cool. That's a lot. I really enjoyed the hell out of that tour. Highly recommend it. And then we got way closer to the carriers than you think. the boat.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I mean, we were like probably maybe 100 yards from one of the super carriers. I was surprised they let us get that close. They do not let you get close to the submarine pen. That is friggin' that thing is well protected. You're not getting close to that. Okay, so there's quite a significant amount of money. 400. Oh, that's nothing. That's peanuts. So there is appropriations for shipbuilding. Wow, I don't want to go this yet. No, nope. Okay. So here's some other stuff I saw about Huntington Ingalls, and like you said, it's dropped quite a bit. Um, they're in the process of 2 carriers, and then there's a 3rd carrier that is potentially being delayed. So one of the ones they're building right now got delayed 1 year.
Mhm.
I think that's the one, the John Kennedy one.
Yep.
And the CVN 82 is like very early stage development, and they were saying in their October call that it might get pushed out actually a few years. I don't know if you caught that too.
I did not. I only caught the transcript, sadly, as
Yeah.
far as like timing of this
Okay.
all goes.
So one of the current carriers was late, and then
Mhm.
the one of the new ones they're developing, it could be a few years off when it originally wasn't supposed to be. So that's bad because that's the big business for these guys. So like a lot of the carrier projects might just get pushed further out, which would not be good for this company. You can chime in about this if you have anything, but
No, so far so good.
okay.
Yeah.
CVN 82, which is the carrier I just talked about,
Yep.
FY or fiscal year 2030. So you're talking like 28, 29, they would start. It's in there. It says as proposed in the Navy's FY25 budget submission, the schedule. So like you can see there's going to be like a gap. The 2 they're finishing now, and then the 3rd one that there's probably going to be a gap in there of a year or 2. So there could be some rough times ahead for Huntington.
Mhm.
It doesn't sound some of their future work is kind of like question mark at this point. So they could still show it as backlogged. Like they still have it's not like anything's canceled. It's just like the time frames are like who knows. This is a tougher business, I think.
Oh
Some
yeah.
of the other military companies, it's a really tough business. And then this is interesting. So the future aircraft carrier force level. Okay. I have this report we can go over.
Mhm.
I thought this was kind of interesting. We're actively selling some of our naval ships to like other countries. Um,
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's one
and
of
they
the ways.
talked about early the Litoro, 2 of the Litoro ships, Independence class ships. They built them like 2015, 16,
Mhm.
and they're already talking about retiring them, which is funny because I saw a few of those ships in Norfolk, and
Mhm.
you could see like the rust. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just the upkeep is a problem for them, but you could see like they were in dock, and these were like new ships. I know the Littoros are pretty new ships, and there was a lot of rust on those things. I noticed when we were going by. So I guess they have their reasons. Okay, what page is this for? Okay. So here's the next part I would show. This is a 30-year shipbuilding plan for the Navy. So we have this. So it's just the Navy. Some of that documentation is just news we talked about.
Yep.
Here's all the stupid letters to open it. I don't know why they do that. They have a separate letter for every single committee chair, and they all say the same thing. It's like 10 pages of shit. So this is the Navy shipbuilding plan for 30 years. So you look here, it's pretty much the same things that Huntington's telling you. Prioritize the fleet and the Columbia class submarine.
Mhm.
So if people have watched my videos on the Virginia class or the ICOM I did on Curtis Wright, that was about the Virginia class attack sub. So now we're talking about the Columbia class, which is the ballistic sub. So this is the one that ends the world. This is the hunt for Red October type boat.
Yeah. Yeah. The
So,
nuclear
so
triad.
they're totally modernizing the entire U.S. Navy submarine force. All of it is being redone. Basically, the rest of your and my life,
Mhm.
they're going to be working on redoing the whole submarine fleet of the United States. That's why I like that submarine thesis the most. So basically, it's a thesis the rest of your life. Like, and I don't think it's going to change. So, and they talk a lot about the importance in this document. I don't know if I can post this under the video. I'll see if I can post it. So they talk about the priorities of the Navy to modernize their ships, which we talk about. Like, some of sequestration hurt this. I definitely, and then a lot of the resources were going to the wars on terror, not retrofitting and upgrading our equipment. And now we're seeing that it's very important based on what's happening in Ukraine, and then the threats of China, that this is a priority. I think is modernization of equipment. So, what else? So there's I guess we have like the top level. There's the priorities of the nation to, modernize and build new ships for various reasons. Companies having problems right now. The Navy's pushing out the budget for some of these ships that are still on the backlog, but they might take a year or two longer than expected, which is going to hurt cash flows and revenue guidance and all that stuff. Okay, that just details the ships there's like 11 ships they're planning to mothball. They were talking about in this report. They have various plans, which I thought was interesting. There's like the first plan, then they have like contingency plans for shipbuilding. I don't want to get into that part, but interesting though, you can see the priorities. This graph shows like the priority of undersea capacity is like a priority as far as like the platforms. Like, this tells me submarines are the more priority than the surface level ships. But people can draw their own conclusions. I don't want to go on unmanned platforms. They talk about sustained modernization, vital shipbuilding, nation imperative. Yeah, we know. So one thing, here we go. Okay. Nuclear powered ships, capacity next 15 years, Columbia, Virginia class, next generation, forward class. So that's the three main shipbuilding priorities that the new super carriers and the two submarines. And then some of the amphibious platforms. Like you said, they just got a contract for, what was it? $7 billion?
6.7 billion. Yeah, with the Air Force. Which is one of the things, if you wanted to talk about some of the details with other details of Huntington Ingalls, we can pivot into that.
Okay, let me go to the chart. Okay, so here's some of the ships they have funding already for, or this is the Navy's projected funding. So you have, here's one of the super carriers. Funding's already out there. These are some of the support ships and landing ships. Okay, this was the plan. So here's the shipbuilding plan. So the presidential budget plan, not the contingency. This is the main plan. Aircraft carrier 33 or 28, 33, 38, 43. So there's some big gaps in their carrier planning. And this is a big deal to them. It takes a lot of men and materials to build these carriers. They're huge. Like, you don't even understand how big they are until you get near one. How big, like the freaking the hangar bay that they go up and down is like as big as a destroyer. It feels like it is so big. So
yeah, for those that don't know,
you can imagine the impact on Huntington if these planes, and they have contingencies here. You can see where they stretch out carrier production depending on different scenarios. So you have ballistic missiles. I think this is pretty ambitious plan to pump out these ballistic missiles. They're planning like one like every year. Okay. Attack submarines. The last time I looked at their plan for Curtis Wright, they were building one Virginia class at both locations, Huntington and the Electric Boat Company, General Dynamics. We're each building one, and then eventually the capacity was going to turn to two each. So eventually they could build four at the same time. So this is all like hopes and dreams. The carrier one is the one that really stuck out to me. Like, if that gets delayed a few years, it's really going to hurt this company. Okay. So this is Battle Force delivery plans. So that was like the funding, and then this talks about like when they're actually going to deliver these boats. So I don't have much more to talk about that. So other things about Huntington Ingalls,
Mhm.
they have a rather. This is the I think this is the 10Q I pulled up. They have a revolving debt or a credit line,
Mhm.
rather large,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
variable rate.
Mhm.
So they put in some of the details talking about it. They talked about they might have to do another debt issuance soon, but they made it sound like they would do it as a benefit if interest rates keep dropping. They'll do another credit or debt offering so that they can refinance some debt, save some interest if interest rates keep going down. So they said it wasn't firm yet. I mean, obviously, if rates keep going down, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
But right now, they're highly at risk for any interest rate fluctuations. This company, it could hurt them quite a bit if it
Mhm.
goes the wrong way. So that's one risk too. Um,
Yeah, for those that haven't seen their quarterly balance sheet, solvency wise, long term looks perfectly fine, but pretty concerning on the cash end, on the cash side.
yeah, they don't have a lot of cash on their balance sheet, which is
Yeah.
kind of terrifying.
Yep.
Um, really low. I was
Mhm.
really kind of like, what the hell are they doing? You might want to have more on the back. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Um, I don't have a percentage, but it just seemed kind of ridiculous how low their
Oh, yeah.
cash
Yeah.
reserves were. Okay, backlog. This is their 10Q. So backlog, which it's different than like a regular company. Backlog it means different than a military. Like this company's like the mode of modes. We didn't probably preface that. There's really no one else that's building. Like this is the company that builds ships in America. General Dynamic builds submarines and
Mhm.
some boats, but it's basically this company
Yep.
for the most part. So their backlog is pretty hefty because like these carriers are backlog, right? But then the problem is, well, what if a carrier was supposed to be started in 2 years, but then due to budgets and issues, now it's 4 years out. So it could happen. So that backlog, it's not as like this would matter more for like my HVAC companies. I would take
Oh
this
yeah.
much more seriously for like Carrier and Aon, the backlog numbers. So, but as you can people can see, $50 billion backlog. Like this company's got business, right?
Oh yeah.
So they're facing problems though. In the call they talked about, people can believe it if you want. This is what the management said. They're having problems with they have to train new people because a lot of their shipbuilders are retiring. The boomers are going retired. So they're having to bring in new workers and it's affecting their ability to build the ships to spec. And also it's affecting, the speed at which they can build because they have to train these people and that costs money. Um, so there's that. That's what they said. They also mentioned there was some issues with some of these new welders not welding to spec. It came out in the news and they claimed they had already told the government about it before. So it wasn't a big deal. Now, bad publicity on that though.
Oh
They
yeah.
probably should have done what Raytheon did, just come right out and own it, right?
Mhm.
Raytheon handled their that paint issue with their jet engines better amazingly in high
Yeah.
now that we're like 6 months or a year later. They came right out and they owned it and they're like, we're gonna take care of it. It's a problem. I thought they did a good job. So it's always better just to do that. But like you said, their 10Q, like their uh their debt capacity is kind of concerning because it's variable rate, some of it, the credit where facility, their low cash balance, but high backlog.
Mhm.
And then they have some contracts coming in that are not ship related, like you said.
Yep.
So for the Air Force, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I can pivot into that if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So roughly what was it? 2021 I want to say. They had an acquisition I think it was a company called Allion. But anyway, the point is that they now and have had a division that they call Mission Technologies. We can laugh at things like big data and AI till the cows come home, but that is one of the things that they specialize in. And between that and things like sensors, things like uh, unmanned products. One of the drones that their own website shows is basically a torpedo-looking thing with some sensor boxes and some things sticking out of it, and it's basically a torpedo-shaped drone. Um, but the interesting thing with that part of the business is, and you can see like from a quarterly or an annualized perspective on 10Ks, um, that service revenue component is starting to increase. And I can see where, if you think Elon and Vivek will have enough influence that it actually matters, that maybe you should punish Huntington Ingalls. If you think that it will not be the case, and then that service revenue component might have some legitimate legs to it as far as improving, or at least mitigating the odds are like ugly margins that come with such a really capital intensive business such as this, because ever since, shoot, like the ancient Greeks with the triremes, building ships has always been expensive, time consuming, resource intensive.
Yeah.
uh,
The
there's just
facilities are it's just mind-blowing,
yeah,
just going through Norfolk, like, it's like, holy crap. Like, the tour from one side to the other of their facility was, like, 30 minutes. So, massive installation. Yeah.
yeah, so there's no way around it. It's not like I can see why people, like, if you look strictly only at the shipbuilding part of this company, you'd be like, this is ugly, I want no parts of it. But
But this is why too, yeah, the shipbuilding's ugly.
yeah.
It's these are massive projects, and delays are commonplace
Hmm.
and lots of problems. Huge. I mean, carriers are tens of billions of dollars to build. So no wonder they get delayed, right? That's a
Yeah.
huge amount of money to allocate.
I
So that's the biggest concern I see. I think the submarine production's pretty set
hmm
because I follow it for Curtis Wright. I'm not very concerned. I mean, they did say in the call that the Columbia submarine, or
yeah.
they're having a little bit of issues with contracting. I guess like some of the details of the work.
Hmm.
The Virginia class program is up and running
Yep.
already. So,
Yep.
and like we'll see, right? We don't know what Trump could go change the whole priorities of the damn Department of Defense. The
Mhm.
priorities you and me just talked about could all be changed.
Yeah.
Like
It's
it doesn't
possible.
have to be nuclear deterrence in China as like
Mm.
the tent poles of the military. Um,
Yeah. Which is why, like we started earlier, I did say I have a position in Lockheed. um, no, but like, yeah, as far as Huntington Ingalls goes, there's a lot to be concerned with. One of the other things is, if you looked at the balance sheet on a 10K, the goodwill does matter from a solvency perspective, and the division I just mentioned, the mission, mission technologies one, that was like 65-ish% of goodwill. So if there's an impairment there, like it could get pretty ugly. So there's a combination of that, and the only other one was uh, critical audit matter on revenue recognition, which we've seen, with Q3.
mhm.
Just because you
But we can look
recognize
here.
revenue.
This is
Yeah,
crap. Like this is bad.
yeah, yeah,
This is really bad. So like if I just looked at this, I could have told you this company got punished. Like I didn't have to look at a stock chart. Like this
yeah,
company got punished because I would have smacked them.
yeah.
Like everything. Like I mean, this is like everything's bad.
Mhm.
Revenues down, margin. This is like terrifying. The margin compression,
Yep.
right? So that's where they talked about like some issues with like personnel, and then they
Mhm.
talked about they were kind of vague on some of the stuff they were having problems with the ship process,
Yeah.
and like the finishing of the ships. They were like wasn't going as we expected,
Mhm.
and then they were like improvements to this weren't working. So like management's pretty vague.
Yeah.
And I saw some other review military investing pages where I saw a common thread of people don't like their management team online. They don't like Huntington's management team, which I can understand. They're kind of I kind of a crappy call by them. So, but so I guess if you're going to buy this, you have to. Is this the worst that can be? Do you see improvement? Which we were saying, like, I mean, they have a $50 billion backlog. I mean, the
Mhm.
priorities in the military as they stand are with a company in this space. Some of the priorities.
Yeah.
They don't really have much of a nuclear deterrence aspect,
Mhm. No,
like
not
Like
not
Northrop
yeah, not
Grumman.
to that same level. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I
I
mean, the submarines when they built, but they haven't really started the ballistic submarines. That'll be their portion of like the deterrence triangle.
what I would say is that for as much as management team and based off the transcript, it wasn't great. um, I, I w- would you rather one of two things as far as like not ideal circumstances, a management team that pushes out product, but the product is has some difficulties like a Boeing, or would you rather have delays and hopefully the finished product is still good?
I know. I mean,
But
really, both suck for
yeah,
investors,
yeah, both.
right?
Not, yeah, far from ideal. But I think I in this case I'm willing to be relatively forgiving and patient. Um,
Yeah.
and again, it's not ideal. Like no one, no, like everybody would want a really good management team that knows what the hell they're doing. Can
And, like, we'll
ex-
never know all the like,
yeah.
these delays in the shipbuilding.
Hmm.
Is this political? Is this Department of
Hmm.
Defense due to budgets? Or is this Huntington being like, "We're kind of screwing this up and we have to slow down?"
Yeah.
And they can because, you know, you can't go anywhere else. You can't just build a naval yard. Like, that time is come and gone unless we start World War III.
Yeah.
They're not popping up anymore.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, the cash flow generation, like, this is terrible.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
it's not a turnaround play because, like, it's just not. Like, it's not like a ship sank in the middle of the ocean or blew up or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Not because
this
of
is
their
not a Boeing
yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
that's
so here we stand. As far as my looking at this,
mhm,
anything else to go over? So we can this is like just the comparing valuations of the big boys.
yep.
So it is trading at a very cheap I hate saying that, but cheap.
Yes.
It's a cheap
Yeah.
multiple compared to the
Mhm.
other players. Like normally military companies, if when they get under like a 15 PE, they kind of get interesting.
Mhm.
Just but being broad there.
Yeah.
So they're at a 10 now. Makes it kind of interesting. But they don't have as much growth prospects necessarily. If they can't start these boats, they don't have like a lot of ability to get into other stuff. They did have that Air Force contract you just talked about, so they do have some outside business other than shipbuilding.
Yes. Yeah.
Evaluation wise, it's kind of interesting. Um,
So not.
this is one other one to get into at some point.
Oh, really?
Lido, yeah, I've been tracking them for a while. It's like it's the opposite spectrum almost of military contractors than like Huntington.
Mm.
Leidos does like software
Oh,
mainframes.
already.
Very
Interesting.
interesting.
Very
Uh,
interesting.
not for today though. I
Yeah.
don't want to
No,
get into it
it's
right
fine.
now.
I think
I probably don't have a lot to add for something like that either, honestly. But
what I would
you
say
could make a case. Why wouldn't you just buy Palantir if you like this company? Because it'd be like fair point.
fair.
Uh,
Uh,
fair
uh,
enough.
what I would say though is that if things keep going the way they're going in this space, maybe this could be an okay start to to saying, oh, General Dynamics is trading at such a discount that I haven't seen in quite some time, or Lockheed
Yeah.
or Raytheon, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, I think the sentiment just I get the sentiment, right?
Yeah,
It's the
same here.
unknown. We
Yeah.
don't know. We don't know what his budget's. I mean, we'll do a show about it in March or April when the budget comes out for the DoD. Because I'll be very curious to see what the Trump. Plus, we don't even know who's going to run the DoD right now. Honestly,
Mhm.
Like, what do you? I give like Pete Heg. I give him like 50-50 that he's going to get through confirmation because they can only lose like 3 senators. So um, I will see if he's the guy. I don't know. Other than that,
Yep. Um,
for me, see, I've never done a video talking in detail about a stock I didn't buy. This is the first time, but it's like at this point, I don't know. I kind of I'm leaning towards I probably wouldn't invest in this right now.
it's fine. Again, I fully recognize that I could be catching a falling knife here.
I
Uh,
don't think it's the carrier unknowns were kind of concerning,
mhm.
and some of the management, like management was just so like vague about. But maybe I understand there's a top secretness to these companies that you have
Mm,
to just accept. Like
yep.
if you buy
But
Curtis Wright, you're just not going to know a lot of details. And like I tried to find a diagram to show people like what the valves were, and
mm,
I swear to God I couldn't find the freaking thing. I the first time I had this diagram, I think it just disappeared one day. So like yeah, if you invest in things like submarine, I mean this is as top secret as it gets in America. So like, there's things these people can't say. So there's that vagueness that probably is intentional. But then some of it's probably not though.
yeah,
Um, but so like I mean, this could like if you believe that the labor issue is causing the margin compression, right? If you, like, do you believe the manager said the boomers are retiring, they have to retrain new people? It's been a little difficult, combined with inflation on some of the inputs on these ships. If you think those are all temporary, I mean, if those margins start coming back to historical, could be a really good investment. Like this could pop $100 a share. Um, but how long? I don't see it turning around so fast
no,
necessarily.
yeah, same here, same here. I don't see
I
it
think
being.
you could look at this 2 years from now and it might be in the same place. Is what I'd be
Mm.
scared of. I don't have a warm feeling about this doubling or something like that.
Oh, really?
Not necessarily.
Okay, oh, that's fair. Um,
I'm gonna watch it though, but
yeah, yeah, because like for me, it's a matter of two things: of can they clean up their things as far as delays goes on the shipbuilding side, and the other one is that's one big muscle move. The other one also, of course, is like I mentioned, the mission technologies. Are they able to maybe not necessarily be preeminent like Lockheed or Raytheon in that space, but can they at least get some of of the uh, of the contracts when it comes to anything software related or sensor related? Because the as far as balance sheet goes, like that, and the monies related with income statement and cash flows, that could move the needle in a meaningful way. So that's where I'm at. Oh, good old Crocs.
someone mentioned it's like, I'm like the only person well versed in Crocs and defense company. Maybe actually. Oh, good old Crocs. We
Yep.
we talked about that last time.
Yep.
Um, so here was one thing that okay, was it in here, right? So this is something like I just don't have a warm feeling that like will Huntington outperform SCHG? Like I don't know.
Mhm.
So it's kind of that's my threshold to kind of this is much more interesting if we're doing this for entertainment purposes. So I this is the intriguing part of defense right now. I've said that drones slash drone defense, which I think are kind of two separate subjects, because like the drone companies are not defense companies in it too. Drones, drone defense, hypersonic technologies. I think this is I don't know about better return, but it's much more interesting of a topic. Um, maybe for another day. I don't have a specific company to talk about that I don't want to actually right. I got one, but I'm keeping it for now in my pocket. Um, but hypersonic technology, we didn't do it for a long time, I think because of treaties,
Mhm.
and Russians kind of, changed that when they started chucking these things at Ukraine. So whether this is actually the threat that it sounds like, the idea is like they're so fast you can't shoot down the missiles like 5, 6 times whatever the speed of sound, which apparently the Russian ones are not very impressive. Actually, at this point, we can still shoot them down with Patriot systems,
Oh,
which are like Patriot missiles are what 30-year-old tech, 40
yeah,
year old.
yeah.
So but you can see they're starting to be putting some money into the development and research of hypersonic technology in the Defense Department. My only concern right now, like they can put that money to research. I mean, this is pennies to the DoD putting like a few $100 million. This is
Mhm,
nothing.
yeah.
And then they can just decide they're not going to build these because it's politically sensitive topic with our allies not to have these types of weapons. Maybe these are questionable weapons, like politically in the
Yeah.
world right now.
Mhm.
It's not like chemical. They're not like chemical weapons, but I mean, countries could honestly ban these. So it's an interesting but kind of sketchy uh, type of investment. I already cried about Red Cat Holdings, so that's fine. I cried. So like people, maybe this is something you want to spend more time trying to look into: drones, drone defense,
Mhm.
hypersonic missile technology. But the other thing, just like, yeah, if you see a budget, oh, $1 billion towards this DoD, it's like it's an 800 something $1 billion monster. Like it's nothing. All right, I guess we should the drone,
The drones.
the Jersey drone. Like I was looking at photos of it. Man, it's so weird. It flies, so they're like it's flying over New Jersey. Um, so like look at that. It's just like, can I blow that? I don't know if I can. I can't get it bigger. I mean, you can see the lights, but
Yeah.
that's kind of like, so they're flying like low across New Jersey, and they fly like like every night. I guess some of these people are saying, and people in the U.S. government are claiming that they don't know what they are. So it's kind of wild what's going on. I mean, it could be very well be we're but like if it was the military, why would you be running them over residential areas?
Yeah.
Because like we put like when we built stealth fighters, right? We put them
Mhm.
in the middle of the desert. Right? So, like, we intentionally put them out in the middle of nowhere. I find it hard to believe we're gonna run, like, new state of the art drones over populated parts of New Jersey.
Yeah,
Uh,
not intentionally at least.
no, so this is really it's really interesting. I mean, who knows? I seriously doubt this is, like, a military company developing these things. It might be some hobbyist drone guy, has some
Mhm.
weird looking drone that he 3D printed. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
But they said, like, it's noticeable that they're flying over, specific, like, military type assets, and I guess there were reports they went over some Coast Guard ships or something, but I don't know. It's one of those weird things. I
Yeah.
don't believe in UFOs, but it's okay.
No. Yeah, for me, it's one of those things where I'm just glad that I'm out.
It
Don't
just
have to
might be
deal with
some
that.
dude that has some weird drones he developed, and he's flying
Yeah.
them at night. I mean, it might just be the most basic idea.
Mhm.
Anyways.
Yeah, because you can get like it's not inconceivable for anyone to be a hobbyist and have the resources to pull this off. Like,
Yeah, I've seen
yeah.
dude, I saw a guy with a freaking I think it was like a one he had a fighter jet drone. It was like
Jeez.
it was an F-15, but like scaled model.
Mhm.
I
That's impressive. That's cool.
Very impressive. It was wild to see it. So, and it was, I mean, it was like 7 feet long with a jet engine, and he was flying it. So, like hobbyists can get pretty high tech.
Oh, oh.
Oh, that's about it. Let's see what
Mhm.
comments we got. Wow, we're an hour.
Oh yeah.
U.S. government might have to sell its Bitcoin to prop up the military budget in 10 years. Let's see. Largest Bitcoin holders. Let's pull it up. No, I want the specific. Oh, no, not that one. Oh, here it is. Okay. U.S. government. There you go.
Hey,
Yeah. Satoshi Nakamoto owns the most. You think there's actually a person? Because it's never moved, right? His Bitcoin is just sitting there.
yeah. I I have no idea if it's one person or if it's a bunch of people. I have no clue.
So U.S. government's got a big chunk. Chinese government, Kraken, Block, Robinhood, MicroStrategy, Binance, Yeehaw. I don't know. Boeing isn't too bad. Oh, Boeing is a
I did the new
totally
CEO ever
different.
lay out the new plans? Because like that might make Boeing more interesting than if
I don't know if it's worth because I'm like when it got to 140 and then they got the union deal done, I'm like, this might be the bottom.
mm,
I said that. I said that to the people. I'm like, this
yeah.
might be the time. As long as no planes drop out of the sky or
Mm,
doors blow off. And then they just got production. There was some news about like improvements in their production for the 737 Max. So they might be turning a corner. I mean, do you believe the CEO? Do you believe he's the guy for it?
yeah.
Let's see. Thoughts on Joseph Carlson wanting to sell Vici now? I don't know he said that, did he? Okay.
I'm not aware of
Good
because
old
that's
Vici.
a yeah, that's a REIT, yeah. The
Yeah,
casino one.
well, they expanded beyond casinos.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't like it because I didn't like being just exposed to casinos in
Mhm,
Vegas. And then to combat that, that was like their whole business was just casinos in Vegas. And then I think they heard the concerns about just being there. And then they started expanding into kind of seemingly random businesses to me.
mhm.
They started buying like stuff outside Vegas that wasn't like the big casinos. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that wasn't originally what their business model was. If you read in their 10K, apparently market hasn't liked it because it hasn't done much. It's only up 1%. So I'm not a fan of it. Um, I don't know. I mean, he's not losing money if he wants to sell it. I believe I'm a Joey Agri believer. Right, the cultist. No, Joey. And it's fun because I remember when it dropped down here, I thought it was a steal because and he even told like he tells you in the calls, he's like, I'm not going crazy. I'm very conservative in what we're buying. I care about like slow growth, like their projections of what they're going to buy and expand. Like it's just all very slow and intentional by him.
Mhm.
So I thought that it was a great opportunity earlier this year to buy this. And you're being rewarded now. But his idea of retail, I really like it. Um, Interestingly, he got out of some of the pharmacies before they started tanking because he's talked about it in podcasts. He kind of saw the writing on the walls of some of the pharmacies that have had problems like Walgreens. So he got out of the Walgreen business a while ago because he went to one and he's like, this is a shitty business. I mean, yeah, the whole business is you walk through a gas station to get your drugs, and then you have to walk back through the gas station middle, and hopefully you buy some chips and soda because they don't have cigarettes anymore. So, but yeah, I think that's it. What other topic? Where he said that
Yep.
Alta, I sold it because Paul scared me. He bought it. Yeah, everything
He never
bought it
misses.
like a week after I bought it, and I'm like, I'm out. Which even though it popped, it's like I mean, I bought it at like 360, 370, so it's not that big of a friggin' gain, honestly. Please drink water, Dan, or bacon.
And it was one of those moments where one of us was coughing.
Wasn't we're at the end, so I don't have Ryan Daniel show is hilarious. Wants to be a bro and don't buy. Yeah. Oh, Dex is an agri guy, I think, with me too. But and there's like was it Russ interviewed Joey?
Oh,
Was it a
really?
week ago? Was it live or did he do a video?
I'm not familiar with this person.
You don't know Russ?
Nope. I am bad at YouTube finance
Where's the damn video? Oh,
or
here,
YouTube
first
investing.
one. So go watch this if you want to listen to Joey. You know, I bet you I could get him if I asked. I've seen Joey go on smaller channels than mine, but
I
I
mean,
don't know. I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
I don't feel like I'd have good questions. Like Russ had some good questions for him. So, but like his concept, he talks about like I think he did a paper on fungible buildings, fungible rectangles, as he called them,
Hmm.
talking about like how he views these rentals that he develops,
Oh,
right? So he looks to have buildings that have future value. It's not such a specific building for one type of company. And the example he gave was like Top Golf. He'd had the opportunity to develop Top Golf, but then it's like, who else would use a Top Golf other than that company, right? So there's nothing as you like a fungible box that you could also sell to other people. Um, so it's more of an investment in him, really, because I like the way he approaches this business rather than realty income, which again they've done terribly, but people disagreed with me. I know, but I did not like when like there was another one. They went outside of their business.
mm,
You go to their 10K, they especially with these REITs, they have a very specific business plan in their 10K. And then all of a sudden, like Vici started buying stuff outside of it, and then Realty Income was starting to buy stuff outside of their original. Like they started getting into like casinos, I think it was, or sports gambling or something, sports venues. And I'm like, this is not what they do. So they're just having a hell of a time trying to find probably just things that are investable at this point. And it shows like they probably need to break the company in half at this point. If they want to create value, they probably should just split the thing in half or something and just like decide how they want to partition the properties, right? Something that makes sense.
yeah.
Maybe cut off some of the stuff that's like a little slower growing. But this is just, I don't think this is a great This is like a retirement distribution for people. But then even then, there's better products for, um, there's better ETFs or mutual funds if you want a monthly dividend, I think. I don't get it. I don't
I
get it.
I agree. It's fairness to the management team. Like it size component in this space really seems to matter.
Yeah, yeah, we've talked like, yeah, they're just so
So big.
there's just nothing Realty Income can buy that moves the needle, I don't think,
Yeah.
at this point. So then they're just buying weird things that are maybe faster growing, but they're not in their core business type
Mm,
model. And then it's just like, how does this fit in the pie with Realty Income? Getting into like sports or gambling. So UFOs.
yep.
Steve is late. Late.
It's fine. It
We're
happens.
about to end anyways.
Yep.
I'm gonna have a hell of a day at work tomorrow. I think flying cars being tested. I don't know what they're talking about. We should start Agri Weekly. Oh boy.
Have a segment of "Do you agree?"
Do you agree? Oh my god. Oh my god. I think I'm the winner though. I'm the REIT guy. Should I pull up the KRC versus Vernado? Do you want to?
Oof. Oof.
Oh,
Oof.
oh, damn.
Wait, was that good old Kingdom
I don't
or
know. I was just
someone else?
screwing up.
I
I thought
forgot.
KRC was fine. I just
Yeah.
didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was that interesting, but
Mm,
just one of the I didn't have really much of an opinion. Vernado was just like, if it doesn't go bankrupt, this is a great when it was like $20. Like the FFO valuation of it at that point, it was basically being priced that it was gonna die during
yeah.
COVID. So it's like I was like, you hold it for a few years. New York City is New York City. There's no replacement for it, right? Like
Mm.
the people will come back. I'm just like, can this thing survive long enough for people to come back? Answer is yes. So I'll probably sell this soon. I got my freaking pound of flesh.
Yeah.
Realty income buying up Europe now. Yeah, is that really? Remember all the REITs were buying into Europe, and everyone thought that was so great. I don't know if you kept track. Like during COVID, like
Oh, I
that
didn't.
was their expansion. They were all going to buy into like Spain and stuff, and it's like I don't know. Is that really the greatest move for investors?
Mhm,
But there's slim pickings for like buying other REITs now.
mhm.
There's just not that many REITs that you can like buy out at this, especially like in industrial REITs.
Yeah.
There ain't any more left. They're all the small ones are pretty much gone. What is this guy? Thoughts on AWS of FinTech's 2025 performance? Mother of God. SoFi, my BlowFi.
They had a run, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Okay, and it seems like now they're range bound some. Yeah.
We'll see. This company has never survived a real like, and they're gonna. I know they'll. Oh yes, they did. It was like a flash crash, right? Like we haven't had a real hard time yet. With all this huge personal loan balance,
Yeah.
they can own it. It's fine. But I mean, I don't believe in. I think it's a bank. It's kind of like the same thing. Like you either believe Tesla's a car company or it's a tech company. It's like with SoFi, it's either a technology slash fintech or it's a bank. I guess we'll see who's right in the end. So you can still make money investing in things you actually believe in. That's the worst thing. Like you're gonna buy stuff you don't believe in, and then you get stuck in it. Like either goes
Oh.
down or worse than going down, because then you might just sell it. It just goes sideways.
Mhm.
Just waste your investment time in something you didn't even have that any interest in the first place. No, not my cup of tea. But all right, so we've covered that.
Yep. How does it feel knowing that I think Curtis Wright hasn't Curtis Wright actually been relatively immune to all the ugliness in this space?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. How does it feel, Dan?
I mean, there's a reason why I didn't buy the shipbuilders when I liked the submarine thesis.
Yeah.
Because people had said to me like last fall,
Mhm.
they're like, why don't you buy the shipbuilders if you like submarines? I'm like, the shipbuilding companies are not just shipbuilders, they have other businesses
Yeah.
and they have to maintain the docks and the
Mhm.
workers and all this. Curtis Wright just sells the valves and like services the valves, and they have employees part of it, but like it was just such a cleaner business.
Mhm.
So even now, it's like, do I want to buy a really cheap Huntington Ingalls, or do I just want to buy a seemingly expensive Curtis Wright, which is just a superior business model on the same thesis? I don't have a good answer right now, but
No, it's fine. It's fine. At least you didn't call me an idiot. So that's the reassuring thing.
I mean, the other, then we talk, this is the other one.
Yeah.
They do the submarines, nuclear reactors. I think they would be a little more sensitive to like delays in construction of the submarines because they build like the one product, right?
Mhm.
So it's one reactor compared to thousands of valves or hundreds of valves. But they've done great this year too. And then they have the benefit of a commercial nuclear business on the side with the submarine business. So I don't like it as much, but it is pretty damn good business too. So, but submarines, I like submarines specifically. That's what I've like. Like the naval thesis is not as strong as the submarine thesis, like within it.
Mhm.
So, but they could both work, I suppose.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Like I I think me buying Lockheed first before Huntington Ingalls should be a telling sign of where my beliefs are.
I mean, Lockheed might have some rough times coming up because they had a lot of business in Ukraine.
Mhm.
If they do end the Ukraine war, like Lockheed sold a lot of freaking missiles to Ukraine. um, and how long is that going to keep going? I mean, the winner in the end might be Raytheon because Raytheon's selling the missile defense systems that might combat. So like all the countries in NATO that are bordering Russia
Mhm.
are probably going to be buying Raytheon defense systems. So like long term, Raytheon's probably the big winner, which I kind of kick myself because when we looked at it when they had that engine problem,
Yeah.
I had just sold Raytheon. I had held it for a long time and it kind of just meandered around. I didn't think it was like I thought it was just like range bound. Like to me, it was like it would hit 100, like it would just like hit 100 and it would just be like a fucking go down. Like it just couldn't pop over 100. So I'd sold it. And then, like a year later, like I didn't really want to buy it again, but what an opportunity. So, but I had said at the time, I'm like, if nothing else comes out about these engines, like this is an amazing buying opportunity.
Yeah.
But that was who knows, like something worse could have come out about those engines because they even said they're like, we don't know exactly the extent. We have to do further testing with their paint issues on those engines. But no, this is the result of nothing else came out. So it
Mhm.
went from 70s to, you almost are doubling your money at this point. But this might be the longest term winner. But it's such a massive company,
Mhm.
Raytheon. It's just
Yeah.
hard to see grow. Like it's just so hard for them to grow in a lot of ways. So, which is funny though, because it's such a pittance compared to the tech companies.
It
It's
is.
like one of the largest defense companies in the world, and it's just like a division of Google, like in size. It's just wild.
To
Um,
me, yeah, yeah. Between that and like insurance companies, also like the biggest of the big. Like we're talking comparable market caps of biggest of big.
mhm, mhm. Honest thoughts on adding Uber at this price? Man, I am.
Best of luck. I have nothing of value to add. Like
Fabio
I
just
get the
did. He did like 20 minutes on it, didn't he?
yeah. As far as talking about it,
How far has it gone down? I haven't even thought about this company. Um, maybe, maybe
yeah,
this
yeah.
is a good opportunity. Not entirely sure why. I mean, maybe it's fear. Is it fear of Waymo? I'd have to
It's
think about it.
it's either that or maybe Musk narrative, but yeah.
Sold CW way too early. Great pick, Dan. Thank you. Missed out on Aeon. Everyone missed out. I thought that was the most. There were a few people that said it was too expensive when I proposed.
Oh
I
yeah,
was like,
that
look, I try not to be mean. I used to. I try not to be mean to people because sometimes I'm just like, man, you're crazy. Like that company, it's one of the most quality companies in America. Like beautiful business, defensible, with an interesting growth path into something related to data centers. I'm like, when it dropped on that one quarter, that one bad quarter, the first bad quarter they had in like 3 years, and then like they had perfect, reasonable explanations for why it dropped, unlike Huntington. Like that was a masterclass in actually describing what happened. And it made sense. And I'm like, this is just short term issues. To me, it was pretty clear that just some of their customers had delayed their intended orders of their HVAC systems due to certain macro events,
mhm.
and like they weren't canceled, just delayed. So I felt fine about it. And yeah, we're almost at a 2x, aren't we? It did touch that, but then it's come down a bit. Yeah. So and they benefit from data centers, any kind of specialized HVAC buildings like hospitals and uh, manufacturing. They can do the HVAC systems for it. Mhm.
I feel like the market cap game would have been appropriate with that one, also to people that would have said it was expensive then, because like what was the market cap when you originally pitched it? Like roughly 5 billion.
Yeah, I would assume because it was like 70s.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I even said too, I'm like, this is the part again. Like most of these people online are I get that most people I talk to online are tech investors. So if I tell you this company grows at like a 6 to 8% organic
Mhm.
growth rate, they're like terrified and they think that's hot garbage. That's like GDP growth. Like, that is spectacular, consistent growth to an industrial like this. We're not talking about a SaaS business or Google or something like, or like cloud build. This is a company that does HVAC equipment. That's beautiful. But like within there's a story beyond just that organic growth. Like there's divisions that are exciting. But whatever. People should, I guess, stick to what you know. So wait, he already said that.
Yeah.
Did it
That
push me
already
up?
got.
Oh, it did. It made.
Yeah.
I don't have any thrilling HVAC investments right now. A lot of it's very expensive, I admit. Yeah. I don't know if I want to buy any. Like, I get people send me like the small ones that are like really under $5 billion HVAC companies. I have a hard time sometimes because I'm like, what's their niche? Like, I want, I don't know. I'm pretty old. Like, if I was in my 20s, I'd be willing to be more adventurous with it. But like, what's their edge? Is what, like, okay, they make HVAC equipment. Maybe the macro events are in their favor, like interest rates of people getting loans for their equipment. But like, what's their edge? I can tell you what Carrier's edge or Tran or Aon. Like, I don't know. If I can't figure their edge, it's just another HVAC company. A lot of them don't. They get to a certain size. They stay regional. It's very tough for them to go in. Most of these companies are regional. They're not going to get to a international, like a American worldwide business model. Anyways, how will this impact LeBron's? Oh god.
Yeah, the internet meme.
We already talked about MicroStrategy.
Yeah,
right?
actually, that was one of the earlier topics.
I have to reorder it then. We talked about Bitcoin at the beginning, but
it's fine.
Well, to end it, like, if you want to buy Bitcoin, people, buy Bitcoin. Don't buy any of these products, these ETFs. Don't buy Grayscale. Don't buy Misty or Coinbase. Like, just buy the Bitcoin and hold it. Then it's yours, and you can sell it whenever you want, and you won't pay no expense ratio. Someone's gonna tell me I don't understand. It's like, I've done just fine. I've traded Bitcoin and Ethereum, but not for a while. It's been a long time. Oh well, I think
years since I dabbled in crypto. I said it's been years since I dabbled in crypto.
Yeah, I did it like early when I was bored, sitting at home. Oh, they're going after you, huh? I mean,
no.
they're doing okay, I suppose. I mean, man, I don't know. Wait, who's that video? Let me get that video.
Dibuttons?
Okay, this is the one. Let me pull it up. 1 second. I should put this in the notes, actually. So this was an interesting video. Is MicroStrategy a pyramid scheme by Mark Meldrum? So he goes into the really, it's kind of boring, but he makes some good points. And then at the end, if you listen to it, it's funny because he's very dry, but the point is taken. I don't know. The problem is, like, I can understand why MicroStrategy is going up. I can understand at some point it's not, right? But on the other hand, it could this freaking game it's doing could work for a long time. I don't know. I'm not on the ride for this. This is I can't imagine holding this thing. Be staring at my charts all day. Freaking have a heart attack. Oh well. All right. So if you are a subscriber, I'll tell you what, if you're a subscriber, if you give me an ETF, I will think about doing an ETF review of it.
Hey, there we
Put it out there. Only paid members.
Okay, members.
Only a handful of you guys. Fuhat's going to write like 10 down now.
Well, you did clarify that it was an ETF. So
yeah, it was like give me an ETF. But please, like, make it something at least freaking interesting. Something that has like a potential to beat the market, not a, well, actually,
okay.
Maybe the joke ones are fun too. I haven't done an ETF review where I laughed at it the whole time.
Oh.
I have a few where I could see like
Mhm.
making fun of them. Like the strategy makes no sense, but
Okay.
mostly the dividend. There's a lot of dividend ones I could just make fun of, but
All right. So you want one of two ETFs, joke ETFs, or it will
what?
actually.
You got them? What
No,
is it?
I don't have any. I don't have any. But I
Oh.
just wanted to clarify for the viewers. Joke ETF, or something that will make you laugh, or it has an actual argument for outperforming.
All the ones I've done have had arguments where you could see times where it
Mhm,
would do well,
mhm.
like, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, well. Alright. Wait, what did the guy want me to outro? Oh, I don't wanna do the Yachty outro.
I say
I'm
go
sticking
through
to
art.
outros for now. So, thanks for joining.
Yep. Thanks for having me on, Dan.
Oh, wait.
Yep. Good old British Warren Buffett.
My brother from across the ocean. Nice to see you here at the end. So, maybe I could do, well, he buys Intel, he doesn't even buy British tobacco. Can't even review it. We were British tobacco buddies, but anyways, thanks for listening and have a good night, everyone.